girlfriend.
Okay, so I am going to start recording, and my demo today, I have quite a few little pieces kind of prepared and ready to go, just to make it kind of go a little bit faster for the demo purposes, because it's more about the process and the pieces of this layout. The way my camera is, we just can't quite get the whole 12 by 12 in, but you can see that little bit of green peeking out from the top there. So when we talk about the base, I'll give some little like options if you like that little extra strip of color, but that one would be optional. So if you weren't on earlier or it's somebody who missed it and is watching on replay, you can actually find the recommended items that you might want to use to make this layout. In the Scrap and Smile group, there is an album that is created called the May 2026 Demos. In there, you'll see some pictures of this layout sample as well as Doreen's demo. But in the comments for the album, not individual pictures, one of the comments says items for Doreen's slidey thingy. And then another one says supplies for Lindsay's layout demo, but they're quite long, so you have to choose see more. But for this page, I basically built on a base. My base I built on is actually this green piece that you can see coming up from the top. I did that because I don't use a lot of green, so I was okay with that being hidden. But that being said, it would be very easy to just cut like a half-inch strip, layer that along the top of your base if you were using like a white or just a random cardstock, or sometimes I'll use the cover sheets of Chantel's Simply Stated collections if I'm not going to use any pieces from it, all that kind of thing. And then you'll want two patterns that go together. I suggested in the supplies that one be a smaller print and one be maybe more bold. As you can see with this one, they're both pretty bold, but that's kind of me. So, but I did spend a lot of time when I was picking these two patterns, playing around with all the options, and really liked how this one, like there wasn't as much white space on this bottom tile pattern, whereas this one had the floral but a lot more white. So I still felt it was a good contrast. And then this piece here, that's the stripe, I recommended a piece, I think, in the list of 3 inches by 12, so we can make a little border overhang. I used a scallop punch. I'm going to show a different option in the one I'm going to put together here in a minute. And then you'll also want some cardstock or coordinating pattern paper to do some mats. The main feature photo, I matted just with a single piece. And normally I would leave like a quarter of an inch. Um, so like this is a 4 by 6 photo. So the photo mat is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. But I know my selfie prints a little bit smaller. So I'm pretty sure that there will be a little bit more of the red showing by the time I get my photo on. And then these are 2 by 3 photos, and I double matted those. So for this sample, I kept the outer layer the same as this one, and then picked another bold floral print. And what I did, if you are going to do the double mat, is I made my first mat 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So it was just an 1/8 inch all around. And then I glued that onto this pinkish red, but kept the border very skinny, like it's probably a 16th of an inch. So that's just if you want some double borders. Then some matching ephemera. I use this bold title here, but you could add your own title. I have another version of this layout that a few people happened to get a sneak peek of if you were on the Patreon crop, because I was working on it for the load layout, but the May Scrap Happy load is happening right now. So I didn't want to show it because it is a day 23 feature layout. So I thought a few got the sneak just because I was working on it, but I will post it in the group so you can see another variation of this layout as well with photos already on it. So it's kind of cool that way. And then you'll just want some of, I used foam dots to pop up some things. And actually, this whole piece we're going to pop up. So that's sort of just the rough walkthrough. So then I'm just going to kind of go through a different variation and show a little bit more of the process, if that makes sense. So I'll just set that off to the side. So for today, I am going to be using a lot of, in fact, mostly Tired Mums Club collection from Simply Stated, but I did find this background piece from the spa collection from last May that I'm using for my base. And I was worried there was a reflection, so I had an extra white piece, but I don't think I need it. So I'm going to just get that out of the way. So in my case, this teal piece is my base. And then I um, put this piece down, and I think I made it, it's about 6 inches, I think. Yeah, this piece is 6 1/4 by 12. I just wanted it to be tucked under. So when you make this layout, you just kind of have to decide how much you want overhanging. So for this layout, it would be good if I put my ruler the right way. Mine is actually 8 1/2. But when you see my other version of the layout, it is a bit smaller. There's more of this bottom piece showing. And for the layout I'm going to do today, the top piece, I've made 7 1/2. So we'll see a little bit more of this bottom piece. So I just like, at the end of the day, you could do a totally like split design and have it 6 inches, but I like it when they're not quite even. So I just wanted my top piece to be a little bit more than half. So then I adhered this already just to my base. So whatever pattern your print you're going to use on the bottom, or maybe that is part of your base already that you're going to build on, you'll want to put this piece down first, flat. Is anybody actually playing along or more watching and going to build later? Just so I know my pacing.
I'm kind of doing it with you, kind of, but doing a two-page layout. The
Okay.
other side is somebody else's design or my design. I don't know what
Yep.
that. So I'm trying to make the two the same, so it won't be exactly the same, but I am watching along
Oh yeah, totally inspired.
and playing along, I guess. Yeah.
Usually I do a sketch, right? And I didn't make the sketch this time, but essentially that's what I've done. Usually when I've made sketches for you guys in the Scrap and Smile group, I've actually made the sketch from a layout I already have made. That's like an original. So I just did it without the sketch this time. So this is your sketch. And so turn it, as you saw, Kathy B had turned her layout and did it split this way. And it would be really cool to do it this way and have a scallop up at the top. So all kinds of options. So then what I did is I picked this yellow piece from the Tired Moms Club. So now you can really see what I was meaning if you have a more subtle print, like even though the hearts are still big, it's more faded. It's not as bold as this bottom piece. And then I have a black piece, and I don't know if the camera shows it quite as well. Can you guys see the border punch?
Hmm.
I used one of the ones that's like a loose leaf punch. So I border punched this whole piece, and then I attached it to the back and the bottom of my top layer. And then I put foam adhesive on the back of this piece. So we're going to lift it up off the page. And I don't know if a lot of people do lift larger pieces or more small. But every once in a while, I like to do something like this because it adds a little extra. It creates a neat shadow where once it's lifted up where the border is, it kind of gives that extra dimension and you notice the border punch a little bit more. You could distress, like sand your edges if you wanted to. Um, I did a little bit of inking on a few of my pieces, but I just quite liked how this one was going to rest and with each other. So I decided not to do any inking. I might ink around the outside at the end, and then I'll probably be mad that I didn't do this top piece, but I didn't want to smear a whole bunch along the yellow because I was really, really, really liking the pop of yellow. Kind of made me, it's making me happy. Now, if you did think you were going to do any layering underneath, you could leave a couple of these, like don't peel them back, and you could do it after. You notice that I kind of like put them up a little higher. I was playing around with some pieces, and I'm just going to tuck a tiny bit, so I should be okay. So then when I put this piece on, and I probably will move it to make sure that I can see and I don't get it like crooked, but I do want to leave a little bit of this teal showing. So I'm going to leave about, I would say it's about an eighth of an inch. And then you guys can all watch me try to eyeball this and not get it crooked. Let's see how I do.
My money's on you, Linz.
I'm feeling pretty, I think I did it pretty good. I'm feeling that's pretty good. It's one of the hardest things I find about demos because then my camera, like when I'd normally pull it down and lean my head over, plus I'm short, like the camera's in the way. I'll like bonk my head on it.
Right. That makes sense.
So now we have that piece on, and it just gives that little bit of dimension underneath there. And so once I know you guys can't, but you really can see that little bit of shadow that this cool edge makes. And then that little pop of color at the top that I thought complemented the flowers. And I know my camera's leaving quite the shadow today, but I don't think my light, oh, maybe that light helped a little bit there. I do have a light that I'm trying to. Okay. So then our original, as I was talking about, I had the photos like this. So I was playing around um, with a lot of different options today. And I just was going to share some of the options with you. So you could do the same, but what I did is I actually made a 2x3 portrait and then a 4x3 landscape just to change it up. And then I still have my 4x6, which I have a topper on already. But I was also playing around, like you could, play around with the orientation, like putting this more in the middle. You could have it down lower, like something like that would look super cool. And then have like a big bold title there. You could even overlap a little bit one of these. Or I thought like, if you overlapped something like that and then tucked that in. So all kinds of options. I opted for sort of similar to what I had done on my original in that I'm going to put my 4x6 over on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to put my 2 pieces more over here. Now, if you don't like your pages to get too chunky, what I would recommend is just gluing this down flat, leaving a little bit. So if you're going to tuck and add tabs, and then you would just need to add 1 set of foam dots to the bottom. So it's the same height as your base. What I did, because I do want a little extra dimension, is I ended up on my 4x6. So this is a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mat. I put foam dots, but I double layered the bottom 3 so that it'll be popped up a little bit more off this layer. But then, of course, since this had a layer, my bottom needs 2. And I'm going to put mine up quite high so that this bottom is just overhanging a little bit. Then I am going to leave this one for myself. And I also did this on my original. I left it flat. So if you were going to do the 2, like 3 2x3s like this, these 2 are flat on mine. And then this one, I used foam, but then I also have those half size ones. So I actually double layered just so once I get this all down, this one will be a tiny bit higher than this one. Just again for some shadow and variety. So it's kind of fun to play around sometimes with like popping up different photos and elements, because I know sometimes I get stuck in the rut and I just do the embellishment clusters, and you forget that you can pop your photos up too. These whites are just standing in as my photos, so I just have them barely adhered. So I would take those white pieces off, unless my selfie print's really small, and sometimes I do leave a little extra white border. So I'm not just going to put those down just yet because I want to show a little bit of my clustering. So I have added to this one, you'll notice that I put the tab. These came right from the Garden Reverie collection. I just didn't, it's hard to tell, but like it's not adhered underneath here. So I'll be able to slide my photo, take that white piece out and slide my photo under. So I made that like a tab. A lot of the Simply Stated collections have the tabs. This one, I took one of the floral ephemera and the house pieces, and I sort of created my own version of like a jumbo tab, I guess, on that one by putting them just behind. And then I had a Project Life card from my stash that I felt really went well.
Then you can watch children.
I had to decide how I was gonna.
Must be better than being a grandfather. I saw that. That's unbelievable. I remember.
So for these, I think I'm gonna kind of try and leave it even there. So I didn't want to see this little piece that I tipped around. So I'm going to put this down when I glue it flat, just so that I can't see that little extra square. So that's sort of how I'm going to organize that. And I did add another little floral cluster to that corner. In a minute, you'll see I'm kind of going to build a very subtle visual triangle. It's just a slight angle, and then I'm going to put a cluster down here. Okay. Then I'm also going to end up layering these houses onto here, flat. Now, I think a lot of you were here this morning when we were having our chat about all the fun movies. So it gave me an idea. And I think that's why it took so long to plan what papers I was going to use. So I went to all my fun pop culture stamps and I found my Dirty Dancing stamps. So I am going to have my Jennifer Grey
Fun.
and Kurt Russell. Or Patrick Swayze, I mean.
I
Patrick
was like,
Swayze.
what?
No, wrong one. Never mind. The one who's not with us anymore, poor soul.
Yes.
There, and then I'm going to color those up. So that's why I was going to try and color them up ahead. And then I have this cluster that I'm going to fit down kind of in here. And wait for it. I have the time of my life with you.
Aw.
Nice.
So I figure even though, I mean, this could easily be one of my like romance book arcs, I think it would be great for like friends. Like, even though most of the time I have pictures with friends and there's no guys, still, it's like a fun event. Like, we could have a scrapbooking event, like anything, right? And it would be a fun little nod to have our Dirty Dancing characters in there.
You should do that for Chantel for her engagement.
Yeah.
Aw.
Or something. Snip for pictures. Yeah. I'll watch, because if they have like some photos online, I could sneak them.
Right?
From offline.
She put some good ones already on, so.
Yeah.
She's posted them on Facebook and on
Yep.
Instagram.
Oh, I saw them, but then maybe there'd be a nice one like of them as a like
Yeah.
couple or something, like not just the engagement.
I think
one.
you'd have to look a little bit for that because he doesn't like to be in pictures a lot, as I
know.
understand. But there are some of them on her page for sure.
Yeah. So that is not a terrible idea. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see what I come up with. But I just thought after our discussion, I just had to come up with something. So I pulled out my Goof Troop, like Goofy movie stamps, and I was trying a whole bunch, and I settled on these ones.
Nice.
And I might put these ones together, but I kind of liked seeing a little bit more of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I kind of settled on that. And I think I'll pop them up, and then I would do my journaling and that. So I'll like finish piece things together, and then I would add some gems into my clusters, and I'll see what like the little word strips, if anything else fits, or if there's any little word strips I might make, or kind of play around if there's anything else I want to add. But that is going to be the general idea.
Very cool, Miss Lindsay.
So
as always.
I don't know. We probably can't get both of them in, but you can kind of sort of get a little brief side by side with just the edges cut off there.
I have a question.
I can try and have an answer, Lisa.
The base piece that you have underneath.
Yes.
I see you have it up above there on both layouts. That was on purpose, right?
Yes.
You wanted it to stick out.
Yep.
So
you would not have to do that. You could just put this piece right up to the top of your base.
Okay.
And you could also just add a coordinating strip or a piece of washi tape along the top if you wanted to bring in something coordinating. Totally just an added little pop of color.
Okay. So the reason why why you have another reason why you have the base piece is because it's top and bottom, right?
The only place you see the base on mine is that strip.
Okay.
And I have so much paper that I'm like, I'm okay with using a full
Okay.
piece of this pattern paper. Like, I
Okay.
don't like green that much. So I'm like,
Yes.
I picked the color I was least likely to use.
Yes.
The teal one from the spa collection, I hardly have any of that collection left. So I
Okay.
wasn't sad to use it
Yeah.
up. But if you have like favorites, I would just build on like a white, or like if you had
Yeah.
just, gray or whatever from your stash,
They're
and
beautiful.
add just a little strip of something,
Yeah.
glue it along the top if you wanted to do that.
Okay. They're beautiful. Thank you.
So once I get this piece together, and finished, I'll post a photo and add that to the group.
I would probably gut that base page because it's so pretty with all those flowers. I wouldn't want to cover it up with that yellow orange. So I'd probably gut that out. The inside.
Were you there at the beginning? This isn't the base. This
Oh,
piece is only, this piece is like 12 by like,
oh, I missed that.
yeah, this piece, it goes to about here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still have a chunk of that.
Yeah, okay, good. That's
Yeah.
what
And I have a chunk of this yellow because I just cut these in half. My base that I built on is actually this light teal that's poking up at the top.
okay.
I got my pages a lot too, but I also have a really large amount of paper.
Yeah.
So I'm not always sad when I don't get them. I just make myself use them sometimes and go, I have more paper than I know what to do with. So if this one gets covered, I got most when I think I'm going to want to use whatever's on the bottom for some mats. That's when I'm most likely to gut. But with Chantel's, this was a package that I still had so much paper with. I knew I was not going to have trouble finding paper that I liked to coordinate. And actually, this paper I had doubles of because I had bought it, and then I did the crop with this. So I had like multiple pieces of this one. Yeah. So that's the general idea. So thanks, ladies. Any questions before I stop the recording? Because otherwise I'm here and can help if people are building or have questions or want ideas or share twists and turns and other versions. Okay, I'll stop the recording.